Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Today. My name is Ridhima Pathak और इससे पहले कि आगे बढ़ूं, wish you all a very very happy दशहरा. और दशहरा तो आज बहुत खूब मना रहे होंगे CSK and RR. A Sunday of upsets, but I'm sure I'll upset a lot of CSK fans if I call this an upset. CSK defeating RCB is already happening on Twitter, but anyway, let's get in. Bora Majumdar, good evening, sir. Happy Dusera once again. And what a day it's been. A Sunday of
मैंने आ,
upset.
मैंने आपको यही कहा था कि हम लोग अगर देखें कि सीएसके और आरआर जीत जाता है, दिस इज स्पोर्ट। मैंने आपको आप जब मेरे से प्रेडिक्शन ले रहे थे, अगर आपको याद है, ये बोल के निकल गया था कि सेइंग मैं आज ये दो टीम को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ, इट्स द डे ऑफ द अंडरडॉग। और अगर आप देखें, ऋतुराज गायकवाड़ ऋतुराज गायकवाड़ को उन्हीं का कैप्टन ने कहा था यंगस्टर्स लैक स्पार्क। वो मैन ऑफ द मैच बने। और किसके साथ बैटिंग कर रहे थे वो? उन्हीं का कैप्टन महेंद्र सिंह धोनी के सामने मैन ऑफ द मैच बन के उन्होंने मैच जितवाया। हम लोगों ने बहुत कहा बेन स्टोक्स कहाँ बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, मैंने कहा, आपने कहा, दीप ने कहा, वो रन नहीं बना पा रहे हैं, छक्का नहीं मार पा रहे हैं, स्ट्राइक रेट क्या है। आज देखिए 60 बॉल में 100 मैच जिता के वो वापस गए हैं। एंड उन्होंने ये भी किया, he's opened up the league again.
Yeah.
None of these teams are able to go more than 14, and these middle teams 10 12 10 12. What a scramble going on.
What an interesting, I mean, points table पे अपना ही एक match चल रहा है. I would say that is
Exactly.
another league going on there. But anyway, we've got a lot of people tuning in. And what was your most favorite moment of the match today?
uh, Two matches, two moments. After Ruturaj Gaikwad got his 50, he did a bow to his team. I don't know if it was shown on TV. I was commentating and he did a bow to his bench. Now that bow was very dignified, respectful, but it also said, I belong here. I had
Yeah.
COVID. I didn't play well. I didn't live up to my billing as a replacement for Suresh. All that is fine. But I'm not as bad as you guys think me to be. That's number one. Number
Yeah.
two was Ben Stokes. If
Hmm.
you see when he took that second, when the ball hit his pad and he got a single, if you see the man was batting on what, 80 odd, the way
Hmm.
he reacted, and you could
Hmm.
understand the intensity and the commitment that Ben Stokes was showing tonight. The
Yeah.
catches, the effort, fantastic.
Yeah. And a word on Sanju Samson because, we've spoken otherwise as well about this cricketer because after his first glimpse, we couldn't see that of him. But tonight he was special.
He was. I mean, see, I have always given people more numbers if they finish games. You know me. I mean, if this 50 was in a losing cause, what's the point? He
Yeah.
stayed there with Ben Stokes and he closed out the game. That for me is a standout performance. You close out a game, you close out a match, you win it for your team, and that's what matters. It was brilliant.
It was. Now, while we're celebrating RR and CSK, I have to ask you that, with these two teams who are in the top three, you've got MI and RCB, and of course, DC also very recently lost. It's a little bit of a question mark on these two teams. It's just one off day. But MI has lost to Punjab. It has lost to now, RR. Now, these are teams which are at the bottom of the points table. So it's still like, I mean, we've called it a team which is, completely whole, a package, a well-oiled machine. But still, there are some units which need to be filled in.
See, there are some bogey teams. RR is a bogey team of the Mumbai Indians. The last couple of years, from 2018, I was told that of the 5 games, RR has won 4. So today included, they have beaten Mumbai 5 times out of 6 in the
Yeah.
last 2 years. Now that's quite commendable. If you beat a Mumbai Indians side 5 times out of 6 in 2 years, now that's terrific. What does that tell you? That tells you the depth of the league. That कोई भी टीम किसी भी टीम को अपने दिन में हरा सकता है. And that's the speciality of this Dream 11 IPL. I mean, it's a fantastic tournament. It's a fantastic tournament in the sense any team on a given day can beat any team. Just like yesterday, nobody thought 60-run win for KKR. Today, nobody thought 8-wicket win for CSK. Now, nobody thought 200 will be chased down against Bumrah, Bolt, Chahar, Pollard, Pattinson. Five
Yeah.
really good, and Krunal. So
Yeah.
this is what the speciality of this league is, by the way.
Yep. Let's also talk about Hardik Pandya and his
Yeah,
special
yeah.
50 today. A lot that was spoken about Hardik Pandya was just going through Twitter and a lot of articles that this we've seen Pandya also bat like this before, but this one was truly special because of his technique. Throw some light on what was special about his technique today.
What he said was he was actually sort of trying to play the ball close to his body, number one. Secondly, he was not trying to overhit the ball. He was actually trying to be tight, trying to time it because he knows that he can clear the boundaries. When you're
Hmm.
talking about Hardik Pandya, and I have to tell you the story. I mean, I Hardik and I are good friends, and I was shooting with Hardik, and he actually took me to that MIG ground in Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
and that fellow hit a shot, and it went outside the ground, and I was like, "तुम्हारा तो power वापस आ गया है." He
Hmm.
said, "दादा आज आ गया है. 2 महीना पहले I was not able to go to the bathroom to pee,
Hmm.
and today I am back on the field."
Hmm.
I was when that spinal cord, when someone told him that you've got to get yourself operated and there's no feeling in your knee, he
Hmm.
was scared that if my spinal cord happens, if back operation happens, my career is
Hmm.
finished. It's the back, for God's sake. And then he was told, boss, you cannot manage it anymore. You've got to go under the knife. And he went under the knife. And then when he came out, for about 7 odd days, he used to sort of ऐसे rest करके उसको bathroom जाना पड़ रहा था. He couldn't move from this side of the bed to the other side. जब आप ये सोचते हो, from there to where he is today, it's a medical miracle that he's able to hit those sixes, 7 of them today, is a medical miracle. और अगर ये सुनो, इंडियन व्हाइट बॉल टीम में अगर ये बॉल नहीं भी डालते हैं, इसको आपको रखना पड़ेगा because of this performance, as in these performances. Because if
Hmm.
a fellow can finish like this, you need a finisher of this kind to be able to just clear the fence, and he can do it at will.
Yes. In fact, I follow him on Instagram and all other social media handles, and I was following his journey of recovery and the kind of, workouts he was doing, strengthening workouts he was doing. It was incredible. I learned a lot from that myself, and that entire journey was very inspiring. All right, now that we've touched a few corners, let's talk about the man of the hour, MS Dhoni. And a word on his captaincy today. The fact that he gave a chance to two youngsters, give me a glimpse of what that sort of signifies and his captaincy.
See, they are rotating players. So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that they gave an opportunity to a Monu Kumar. But think about this. I mean, 3 years that fellow's been part of that side and not played one single game, and he's finally playing. So it means a world to him. He didn't pick wickets or anything, but it means the world to a Monu Kumar. Having said that, I mean, MS was good because to be able to control Virat and AB de Villiers, which he did, and he kept them under pressure, rotating his bowlers, kept 2 overs of Chahar. And if you
Hmm.
see, Chahar came back and picked 2 wickets in the 2 overs. So
Hmm.
that
Yes.
was excellent captaincy by MS. Generally, he
Yeah.
does 3 overs of Chahar or finishes Chahar off. Today, he saw that Deepak was going for runs up front and he retained Deepak because he didn't have Shardul today. So he retained 2 overs of Deepak. My only issue with MS was Sam Curran gave 19 and got 3. Sam Curran should
Yeah.
have finished off. So maybe he could have given one less to Monu and gone to Sam Curran. But that's fine because 145 is what he kept RCB to. Now that for an RCB side, batting first was way below par. Maybe I thought they read the pitch better, CSK, because if you heard Mitchell Santner, he said, tough wicket to bat on, this, that. But it wasn't. I mean, when they batted, what struck me was the
Hmm.
power play. There was
Hmm.
intent in the power play. They went for the runs in the power play, knowing that once the slow bowlers come in, we might have to hold back. That's
Hmm.
what changed the game for CSK. It was very good to see, and I'm saying this. I mean, I was delighted that MS was there at the end to
Yeah.
see the winning runs, to see Ruturaj Gaikwad with him was terrific.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed Mitchell Sandner saying that because after the toss, when MS was asked what you have done, he said I would have also elected to bat. So I think both the teams were gunning for that. But having said that, we've got Kareem back on the show, and I think he's asking again: is it possible that any of the top three teams do not qualify, which is MIDC and RCB?
See, now everything's possible, but I still believe that all of these three teams, each of who have got two games remaining, they are not that. Look, there is a game between a KKR and an RR. There is a
Yeah,
game between a Kings 11 Punjab and KKR tomorrow. So if you really do your math, you will see that there is plenty of opportunities for Mumbai, RCB, and Delhi to go through. So I
yeah,
will be very, very surprised if either of these three teams stuck on 14 do not make it. I do think each of them will. I also think that CSK can turn spoiler. Because if they win a couple here, there, they can turn spoiler. They have a last game against RR. Now, RR might well be playing a virtual quarterfinal against KKR that last game. Can.
huh,
Now, if
huh,
there is a spoiler there, it makes the
huh.
league that much more interesting.
Also, mathematically, with RR winning this match, CSK for sure is out. I heard that in the commentary though.
CSK can get to 14. They're on 8. Yes, they are out. No, 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 no,
They're
no.
out of the way. Yeah.
Uh, Mathematically, yes, almost. Yes, almost. They are out. They with the run rate and everything taken into account, they are out. But as I said, it is not. They knew they were out. But it is not
Hmm,
about being out or whatever. It is about pride. The way they
hmm.
played today, they have
Yeah,
made us believe that the brand is alive. Mahendra
yeah,
Singh Dhoni can still win you cricket matches. And those
yeah.
youngsters who he felt weren't up to the mark, they told him, Skipper, believe in us, please. Ruturaj
Hmm,
Gaikwad is a story. Uh, Sam Curran, 19 runs, 3 wickets is a story. Deepak
yeah.
Chahar, 2 wickets, brilliant bowling at the death is a story. So all said and done, I mean, don't forget Ambati Raidu's innings. That wasn't a bad one either. It was
Hmm,
a good innings. They gunned for it. Don't forget Faf du Plessis catching. That boundary
hmm,
line catch he's become a specialist in. So all
hmm.
said and done, many highs for CSK, even if it is mathematical. But it's
Hmm.
good to see that they played with that intent.
It was good to see the pride of Lions back. All right, Naveen's asking you, sir, that क्या रोहित कैप्टन अच्छे हैं या उनकी टीम अच्छी है?
देखो यार, कैप्टन तभी अच्छा हो सकता है जब उनका टीम अच्छा हो सकता है। अगर मैं जाके कैप्टेंसी कर दूं, एक एक उल्टा सीधा टीम लेके स्पोर्ट्स टुडे चलाना शुरू करूं, तो आप देखोगे थोड़ी। मेरे पास एक अच्छा एंकर है, मेरे पास एक अच्छा गेस्ट है, मेरे पास एक अच्छा टीम है, मेरे पास एक अच्छा प्रोडक्शन यूनिट है, तभी ना आप देख रहे हो। सो ये
Hmm,
जो भी स्फीयर में आप खेलते हो, रोहित शर्मा, देखिए, कैप्टन अच्छा तो है ही। कैप्टन अच्छा कब पता लगता है? जब क्रिटिकल मोमेंट्स में डिसीजन मेकिंग में उनका इन्फ्लुएंस रहता है। और रोहित
hmm,
शर्मा के साथ हमने ये बहुत बार देखा है कि
hmm,
क्रिटिकल मोमेंट्स में रोहित शर्मा ने फर्क किया है। एंड दैट इज हाउ यू बिकम अ गुड कैप्टन। हैविंग सेड दैट, आज अगर मैं रोहित शर्मा को बंगाल टीम का कैप्टन बना के आईपीएल में भेज दूं, क्या वो जीतेंगे? कोई नहीं जीत सकता है। So captain will always depend on a good team. But then when all good teams come together, then a good captain can make a difference. Who makes less mistakes? Like yesterday, if Shreyas Iyer wouldn't have made that mistake, would KKR have gone on to make 190 runs? No.
all right. We've got Kavish Sethi asking, will Raina and Bhaji be back next season to CSK?
I don't assume so. I don't
Hmm,
assume so because uh, I don't think they will retain Bajju. He's
hmm,
a legend. He's a dear friend. But I don't think CSK will retain. And I also think, let's put it this way: there's nothing called never say never. But I will be a tad surprised if either of these two players are back in the CSK lineup.
hmm. All right. Now that we've seen a glimpse of the old CSK, it's like we walk down the memory lane, especially with the way these two teams performed. So, what do you think is going to be in the vision that MS has for this team in the next season? How do you think he's going to build it again? The rebuilding phase.
See, he's got to pick particular players. He's got to pick a match-winning all-rounder. He's got to pick a fast bowler.
Hmm,
He's got one Deepak Chahar. One Chahar won't do. He will have to pick a quality spinner. because I think Imran Tahir is gradually going the other side of 40. So who is his premier spinner? Ravi Jadeja is good enough for left arm spin and all rounder, but someone who will pick him wickets. You know what I mean is somebody like a Yuzi Chahal, somebody who will come and win you, Rashid Khan, that quality spinner. It's not easy to say that. I mean, Ravi Ashwin having a bad day, but he's a quality act. That kind. So he will have to pick a very important opener. Who does he open with? Faf, yes. Who's his number three? Who will tonk the ball? Give him the power play starts. Is Ruturaj his solution? Too early to say. So he will have to go back to the drawing board, see where the deficiencies are. Who's his middle order? Today again, he didn't need to test that middle order. But who's his middle order? Who's his finisher? Who's the Hardik Pandya equivalent for CSK? Can MS do that job more? No, he can't. So who's going to do that job? Not Kedar, not somebody else. So he has to pick individual players to be able to come and do those jobs. That's what MS's main task is.
All right. Now we've got a lot of CSK fans tuning in, and they're asking for Burra that do you have an MS story for us?
I have plenty of
That
MS
were
stories. I
special.
mean, see, I mean, look, I mean, I keep going back to that personal meeting for several reasons. I mean, and it is etched in my memory, that meeting. I mean, this was in Delhi in his hotel room, and there was nobody. So there was no one except his manager. So what I am saying, you can get it corroborated by Mihir Divakar, who's his manager. He was there. MS invited me over saying, "Kaha kya kar rahe hain aap?" So I said, "I've got a flight to catch." He said, "Kitne baje?" I said, "Sham ko." He said, "Aaiye room mein aaiye, khana kha ke jaiye." So we both met, and as I told you, I mean, there's a deep thinking man. Okay, we're talking about Captain MS. So let me tell you the story. So while we were talking, and he told me, आपको क्या लग रहा है? वो वर्ल्ड कप सेमीफाइनल में मैं अकेला खेल रहा था, मैं अपना मैच जिताने का कोशिश कर रहा था, मैं वो नहीं कर रहा था. तो आई सेड, तो आप क्या कर रहे थे? ही सेड, मैं मेरे लिए भी बैटिंग कर रहा था और मैं जड्डू के लिए भी कर रहा था. सो आई वाज कैलकुलेटिंग फॉर माई सेल्फ, आई वाज कैलकुलेटिंग फॉर जड्डू. ऑल आई टोल्ड जड्डू इज, तुम्हें और कुछ नहीं करना है, तुम खाली खेलो. सारे कैलकुलेशन, सारे प्लानिंग मैं करूंगा, and I will do that. So MS was actually the mind of MS was mathematically diagnosing, calculating what needs to be done. And this is the best part. You know, he told me, he said, वो 2 रन अगर हो जाता, सेकेंड रन में रन आउट हुआ उन्होंने. So he said, अगर वो 2 रन हो जाता, अगर आप सोचें 20 रन बाकी था in about 8 balls, right? So मान लीजिए 16 in the final over. Now, when it is 16 in the final over, break it down. Who was bowling? Jimmy Neesham. How big was that ground? It is like Sharjah. And he said, look, when I was batting, and his eyes lit up, I remember it. And he said, when I was batting, मुझे आप कह रहे हो कि 16 रन, 17 रन, 18 रन. अरे यार, जिमी निशम भी सोच रहा था वो MS धोनी को बॉल डाल रहा है. वो MS धोनी को डाल रहा है, जो इस सिचुएशन से 1000 बार मैच जिताया है. सो मुझे 2 शॉट मारना था, मैं 2 मार देता, एंड देन मेरे पास 4 बॉल में 4 रन. So the impact would have straight gone back on the bowler. Believe me, and I've said this very few times, MS believed he could win that game. That is why he said, when I was walking out, I thought my first game was a run out and my last game is a run out. So the clock has turned its full cycle, and probably he had a tear. And the moment he told me this, he started flipping his iPad like this. I said, "Kya kar rahe hain aap?" And he was seeing photographs of his, camp outs in the army. And I said, "Is army a result of that cricket match that you tried to forget, that you were in trauma?" This man is a proud man, and that is apparent to me. I had asked him retirement. So he started laughing. He said, "Media questions mat पूछना. जनवरी में देखेंगे, फरवरी में देखेंगे, बॉडी कैसा रहता है, उसके बाद डिसाइड करेंगे. आई हैव ऑर्डर्ड न्यू इक्विपमेंट होम, एंड उसके बाद तो देखो लॉकडाउन हो गया, बट ही हैड प्लान्ड इट, एंड द रिटायरमेंट वाज डिलेड. See, I keep saying this. I think COVID robbed MS Dhoni of one final opportunity to push for a place in the World Cup. Like if it was this year, had there been no COVID, MS would have pushed himself one more time. COVID has robbed a lot of us of a lot of things, but it did rob MS of one final opportunity.
Yep. Uh, Murugas, having interacted with the man so much, हमारा कहते हैं चाणक्य बुद्धि, उनकी थोड़ी, I mean, the strategist that he is, चाणक्य बुद्धि बोलते हैं. Where do you think that comes from? I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea to be such a great strategist.
See, he has said it several times. When you talk to him on pressure, he says क्रिकेट ग्राउंड में क्या प्रेशर दादा, क्रिकेट ग्राउंड में कोई प्रेशर नहीं रहता है. खड़गपुर में जब टीटी था, जब टिकट कलेक्टर था, आप लोग बंगालीज वुड रश इनटू द ट्रेन्स विदाउट टिकट्स, वो आप लोगों को चेक करना प्रेशर होता है. क्रिकेट ग्राउंड में तो सारे सिविलाइज्ड लोग आते हैं, उसको क्या प्रेशर. सो ही इज अ स्ट्रीट स्मार्ट गाय एंड ही हैज गॉन थ्रू द ग्राइंड. And believe me, I mean, I'm telling you, that interaction, if you were there, you would have understood. And we were constantly talking, and my whole idea was to soak in that this man was actually thinking for himself and Jadeja and calculating 5 overs down the line. This is the match situation. He had planned it. He said, मैं 18, 19, 20 जानता था, मैं जानता था जिमी नीशम आएगा, and इसीलिए मैं ऐसे करके खेल रहा था. So he had actually thought that through. So that's his mind. The mind is a good one. I mean, it's a super mind. It's a super, super, super mind. And think about that run out. Think about that Mushfiqur
Oh,
Rahim run
Martin
out in that.
Guptill played Terminator, man.
Oh,
that was pure luck.
that
That
is,
was,
yeah,
had that not happened, India might have won the match.
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I told you. I mean, MS
Yeah.
kept telling me, oh, and you've read my piece. He kept saying, I asked myself a million times. By the way, when he was running for the second run, he kept
Hmm.
asking himself, should I dive? And he tells me that if you think, if I dived, I would not be run out. But in my life, if you go check my career, how many times have I dived? I haven't. So diving is not what is good of me. What is my strength? The running between the wickets, the fast running between the wickets. So I was still backing myself that I'll make this. That throw from that diagonal angle coming and hitting the stumps was a once in a hundred, freakish act. But if he still dived, he would not be run out. That's why I call it the imperfect end for the perfect finisher.
All right. Lovely. Well, we've got, of course, a lot of people who tuned in and giving their opinions. Nowadays, we've got Yogesh saying nowadays it's very interesting to see how Kohli talks about the process and
And MS
Dhoni
talks.
talks about intent. So, any comments you want to make to him? Yogesh Shamle is saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because MS always has talked about process and Kohli about intent. See, these are words. These are words which captains sort of say. Ultimately, if you see Virat's biggest strength, Virat's biggest strength is his passion and commitment. Today
Yeah.
also, if you see the way he was running, one
Yeah.
four, 1-6, and the way he was running, phenomenal player. So,
And
I'm
it's a special
Virat
day for
Kohli.
him today.
Yeah, I
He
mean, no
made that
question.
record of, yeah,
Yeah, and 200 sixes or something in the IPL.
yeah.
Unbelievable player. Absolutely unbelievable player. I mean, he's a great ambassador for sport. I always say this. Virat Kohli is a good thing to happen to international sport.
Indeed. All right, Borega, with that, how did your playing fantasy team perform?
Oh, very, very well. Because for the second
Did you
match,
go for a CSK favorite team?
I told you that after yesterday, I had learnt my lesson.
Yeah.
So one of my teams had, again, you will laugh at me, but yes, one of my teams had Sam Curran as captain and Deepak Chahar as vice captain. And the other team had Ben Stokes as captain and Jofra Archer as vice captain. So Ben Stokes captain, Joff, so you can understand. I mean, I learnt my lesson yesterday. I punted on Delhi, and me being me, I didn't take these mathematical calculations into account, but now I do. I mean, again, I got it right because I think this game I played with 11 teams, and I can send you the screenshots. Out of the 11 teams, I think either 10 or all 11 have won. So yeah, and my best team scored about 700 plus points, which
Yeah.
is pretty excellent. Yeah.
Perfect, Boryada. Congratulations. And once again, I'm very, very happy to set up. Tomorrow, or rather, I should say, no, tomorrow, it's still half an hour to 12, is a very special match. So I'm looking forward to your playing 11 then. But thank you so much for joining us and have a great night ahead. And thank you so much for everybody to joining us. And once again, a very happy Dussehra. We will see you tomorrow. Great match coming your way. And of course, we'll see you at 2:30. Until then, it's a goodbye.